Hi, today I'm going to talk about the tiny house movement while I'm building this tiny house lot in The Sims 4. One could say that humans have always been living in tiny homes. In the Paleolithic era, early humans, along with the Neanderthals and the Denisovans, lived in caves and other small structures. Unlike modern-day humans, these people spent most of their time outdoors as hunter-gatherers. Over the years, humans lived in all sorts of tiny structures. Plains Native American groups lived in teepees, which are cone-shaped shelters usually constructed from wooden poles and covered by bison hide. These homes were easily portable, making them a practical choice for groups that traveled often. In Central Asia, especially Mongolia, yurts were an extremely common style of home. Side note, the Mongolian word for yurt is actually gur, but I'm not very confident in my pronunciation here, so I'm going to continue to use yurt for the sake of the video. Similar to teepees, yurts were constructed of poles of light wood or bamboo, which were attached using leather or animal hair. Yurts use a variety of coverings and are often layered. Common materials include felt, wool, and even canvas. Also similar to teepees, traditional yurts were made to be portable shelters. Yurts are still common dwellings in a variety of communities across the globe. These examples of tiny homes are just a few within human history. In 1845, author Henry David Thoreau wrote the book on Walden Pond, over a 2-year, 2-month period while living in a 150-square-foot cabin in Concord, Massachusetts. Thoreau's philosophy was the idea of maximizing satisfaction with as little as possible. The Ventura House, built by Finnish architect Matti Saronen in 1971, was a tiny home constructed of fiberglass reinforced plastic, metal, and glass, among other materials. The licensing for the home plan was sold to 23 companies across the world, and these structures were used for a variety of purposes, including homes, retail kiosks, and even gas stations. In 1973, Lloyd Kahn and Bob Easton released Shelter, a book which delved into the concept of tiny living at a time when the average square footage of a house in the US was 1,660 square feet. It explored small house designs around the world, as well as construction methods used by the Native Americans. In 1987, Tiny Houses, or How to Get Away from It All, a collection of images and art of tiny homes and other structures, was published by Lester Walker. More books like these were published throughout the 70s and 80s, but they were not the catalyst for the tiny house movement as we see it today. In 1998, Sarah Suzanka published The Not So Big House, a blueprint for the way we live. The book urged homeowners to consider the quality of their living space over the size of it. The book was influential in architectural communities and sparked a movement. Over the next couple of years, tiny homes popped up more frequently, and in 2002, the Small House Society was founded by Gary Johnson, Jay Schaefer, Nigel Valdez, and Shay Salomon. In 2006, Gary Johnson was interviewed on a segment of All Things Considered by NPR about the tiny house movement. He quickly earned a book deal. Less than a year later, Oprah did a segment on Jay Schaefer's 96-square-foot home. During the 2008 recession, tiny homes became an attractive option for younger generations who watched their parents struggle to pay bills. In the next years following the crisis, the tiny house movement picked up speed. In 2014, Spur, Texas declared itself a tiny house town, and television programs like Tiny House Nation and Tiny House Hunters aired. The lower cost of tiny homes is not the only benefit. Buildings are responsible for around 40% of energy-related greenhouse gas emissions. Because of their smaller footprint, tiny homes require fewer materials to construct and fewer energy resources to maintain and keep comfortable compared to traditional single-family homes. An Australian study showed, quote, that tiny homes can reduce per-person carbon emissions by 70% over its lifespan compared to a traditional home. Furthermore, owners of traditional homes with enough space may be able to build tiny additional dwelling units, or ADUs, to be made available to renters or family members, which would increase population density and make housing more available. Downsizing is also an attractive option for people who do not need a ton of space, or have mobility issues, or don't have the time to clean and maintain a larger home, or even elderly people. In Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, A Better Tent City is a tiny living community geared towards those facing homelessness. Around 50 residents live within 42 tiny homes on a fenced plot which also hosts a kitchen, laundry room, and common area. The community was created to provide a safer and more comfortable alternative to tent cities. These tiny home communities are being built in many cities with homelessness crises, such as Calgary, Alberta, Fredericton, New Brunswick, Winnipeg, Manitoba, and even in cities outside of Canada. At A Better Tent City, Live-In Site Coordinator Nadine Green said that she's seen people change from being difficult by being here and seeing the care and love that we give. Tiny homes have been a housing solution for people across history and the world. They are often dwellings built for efficiency, creative and multifunctional uses of space that benefit the environment and people. So for this house, I wanted to create something that felt natural and cozy. It is pumpkin spice release day at Starbucks, and I already had mine. So I wanted to use a lot of materials like wood and stone, and I think I achieved that. I know one thing that a lot of Sims players have a bone to pick with is mismatched wood swatches. That said, I like it. It feels more realistic to me. I think you can create a lot of fun and warmth with the mismatched wood swatches. So I don't care, I just went for that. I did playtest this build. I did have to move a couple things around in the bedroom. I did push the bed too much into the wall, so I had to let it snap to the grid. So if you do choose to download this house off the gallery, the bedroom's going to be a tiny bit different. I also totally missed putting toilet paper in the bathroom, so I did that off camera as well. Yeah, so here is the final look. I really hope you liked this video. All the sources I used can be found in the description. This home is available on the Sims 4 gallery, and I have included a list of packs used for the build in the description as well. If you like this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. Thanks, bye.